convene the South Dakota School of Mines Student Association Senate to order. Roll call and approval of proxies.
Alarape. Archer. Here. Camps. Here. Dominguez. Dumont. Here. Else.
Here.
Espinay. Here. Fernandez.
Here.
Hewitt.
Here.
Jurens. Call.
Here.
Kessinger. Here. Lannert.
Here.
Lewis.
Here.
Lockwood. Here. Proxy Sun.
Here.
Paulson. Here. Quigley.
Here.
Russ. Seekman.
Here.
Twing.
Here.
Wheat.
Here.
Van Ruler.
Here.
Witt.
Here.
All those in favor of approving the proxies? Take a motion to approve proxies. Okay.
Motion to approve down there.
Second.
Second.
Motion to approve proxies. All those in favor of approving proxy signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Proxies are approved. Everyone get a chance to look at the agenda. Anything to add? All right, see none. Agenda is approved. Unanimous consent. Any problems with the minutes from last week? I will note that these ones were looked at quite extensively by various parties, kind of related to some questions from last week. So just kind of a reminder that what you say and what gets put in the minutes is what happened, unless we're going to go through the videos. It's a critical document. So be important, especially for very sensitive issues like that, to go back through. But any issues? See none. Minutes are approved. Unanimous consent. Moving on to unfinished business, Resolution 22F-013, Student Organization Deactivation.
I read this last week. However, I'm not going to reread it.
I have an amendment to make to this. The soccer club has been in contact with the Constitution Club and would like to not be deactivated.
Okay, so you're wanting that removed from the list?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm going through the list right now, but college Republicans did show up to the SOAP workshops.
Okay.
Just to note that.
Yeah, and I reached out to Liam Slavin, who was the president last year, and to his knowledge, they weren't active, so they have not tried anyone who was involved. No.
You know who showed up for college?
Oh, it's Kelsey Webb and Landon Zenz. 2 people.
Well, there's an amendment on the floor.
So should
Is
we
there else?
remove college Republicans for now, or?
It's up to you guys.
We could table this for next week. We could approve the amendment and then table this for next week. That's okay. So is there a second for that amendment?
I'll second
For Hewitt? Okay, second for the amendment. All those in favor of amending resolution number 22F-013 to remove soccer club signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Okay, that amendment's approved. Is there a motion to table? Senator Lewis. All right, motion to table the amendment, table the resolution. Is there a second? Senator Ellis.
Second.
All those in favor of tabling this resolution until next week, signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Okay, this is tabled for next week.
Okay, I will reach out to Landon and Kelsey tomorrow.
Okay.
Also, somebody signed up saying their club was ARC, which I assume refers to the ARC newspaper club, which was Lewis Swanson.
Louise.
Louise.
We'll follow up with her again, but I don't see that as being accurate.
Okay. All right, moving on to resolution 22F-014, National Society of Leadership and Success.
I read this last week as well, so I don't feel the need to reread it. But
Any questions,
yeah,
comments, motions? Senator Hewitt,
Motion to vote.
seconded by Senator Jurens. We're gonna roll call vote, okay.
Alrape. Archer.
Aye.
Cantz.
Aye.
Dominguez.
Aye.
Dumont.
Aye.
Else. Espinet.
Aye.
Fernandez.
Aye.
Hewitt.
Aye.
Jurens.
Aye.
Call.
Aye.
Kessinger.
Aye.
Leonard.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Lockwood.
Aye.
Proxy Sund.
Aye.
Paulson.
Aye.
Quigley.
Aye.
Russ. Siegman.
Aye.
Twing.
Aye.
Wheat.
Aye.
Van Ruler. With.
Aye.
Passes.
Resolution passes. Moving on to new business, resolution 22F-015, mental health sick day. Day to day.
We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see what's in there. Okay.
So we have Marshall Schleich, resolution number 22F-015, presented on the 9th of November, 2022. Originated by President Marshall and Vice President Schleich, presented by myself. Whereas the South Dakota Student Federation voted unanimously to create a mental health strategic plan for all 6 Regenttal universities, and whereas this strategic plan will require resources and policy change at both the Regenttal and university levels, and whereas an initial policy change to include guaranteed mental health sick days would begin to ease strains on the counseling department as well as students, and noting that the University of South Dakota recently implemented requiring 2 guaranteed mental health sick days per semester in every syllabus. And therefore, be it resolved by a majority vote of the Student Senate and the signature of the Student Association President that the Student Senate take a stance in support of a policy change guaranteeing 1 mental health sick day per credit the classes work per semester. So I guess for some context with this, with the whole mental health initiative, it's a little up in the air, so it's kind of time to start taking a little bit of initiative ourselves at the university level, depending on who knows what Board of Regents will do or Student Fed will do. But essentially, we kind of want to start, advocating a little bit more for students, helping out with mental health sick days, and we're kind of just taking the USD model and applying it to our own. I talked with Dean DeLugos a little bit about this. Basically, excuse me, I have a dry throat. Instead of just doing like 2 guaranteed days per class, it just depends on how many credits. Just because if you take 2 days out of a 1 credit class, you're missing like 20% of the class, per semester. So it'd just be based per credit. So, any questions? Yeah.
Senator Stevens?
Yeah.
Would this take effect the coming semester, or?
So this would have to go through first, correct me if I'm wrong, faculty senate, then be approved by the university cabinet itself. Correct? Or?
No, I don't know that you would need faculty senate approval,
Okay.
but I think it's the right thing to do. Bring it to faculty first, try to get their approval, and then go to cabinet.
So it's very convenient, so I'm actually attending faculty senate tomorrow, bring up another change to the excuse absence policy. It had been brought up by me back in March of 2020 as far as increasing excuse absences to cover students with children and kind of emergencies related to their child. It had been kind of approved by faculty senate back in March 2022, or back in March 2020, and then just kind of poof, didn't really go through where I need to go to. So I'll bring this up to them tomorrow. Obviously, we don't have a stance on it yet, but it is good form to bring it through faculty senate, but it's definitely falls under the Dean of Students office. Correct, that policy falls under your office, correct?
So maybe just like the wording of the very last part, I'm wondering the per credit. I don't know that that's. I wonder if it should be, because I think we're on the same page. I wonder if you should just outline it. 3 mental health days if a class meets 3 days a week. 2 if it meets 2 days a week.
Okay.
It might just be more specific, because I don't know that people are going to naturally understand that word.
For sure. Should we amend that then now or wait a week, I suppose?
I think we could be sitting on this and try to figure it out. So I'd say just bring it up new business next week.
Okay.
It'd be the same kind of voting on it anyway.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just reword that then. Same content overall.
Okay. Any other discussion? Senator Kessinger?
I guess, do we have any evidence that this would improve mental health on campus, like from other schools? Like, I guess if USD had this, right? did they have a good effect, a positive response from the student body, or?
They just approved it, so those
Okay.
kind of statistics are still coming in. It was overall very, very well received.
Yeah.
And it fits in line with kind of the focus of the board reader. As far as a whole, it fits the push for increased mental health resources fit in line with kind of the board region's strategic plan, as well as kind of what Student Federation is really pushing for with improved mental health resources on campus.
Essentially, this way, like, students aren't punished for taking a day off just because they might need it, they might be too stressed, overwhelmed, whatever. They're not punished for that, especially for like attendance-based classes, so.
So to clarify, we don't have really metrics going into this. We can look into it.
Yeah.
Kind of approach next week. Any other discussion? Senator Whip?
Given that we're basing this off of USD's policy, do they have anything in there about if professors have to make some sort of accommodations for if you miss a lecture or something? Because obviously, like, a lot of classes don't take attendance. So if you're taking a mental health day for a class and the consequence is you miss a lecture, is there any sort of accommodations that professors are required to make for that?
That I'm not sure of. I can reach out to them, but that I'm not entirely sure of, I suppose.
I guess that might be something.
Essentially, the way that USD is made, it's like no questions asked, you just have to do it off type thing, so.
Yeah.
So it'd be up to the person taking the day to make their own accommodations necessarily to figure out what they missed and catch up.
Maybe. That's a good question. I'll get in touch with the people at USD with that.
Let's actually, I would say let's withdraw it for this week, come back next week. We're gonna have the verbiage for the excused absence policy revisions that we'd like to see, and kind of make sure it fits in line with kind of how absences for school-sponsored reasons look like, for kind of emergencies and stuff like that. So, yeah, we'll see this next week for sure. Any other discussion, just kind of, I think Vice President Schleich make some amendments to this over this week. All right, seeing none, you guys will see an amended version next week. All right, moving on to open discussion. Anyone have anything for open discussion today? Senator Ellison.
I guess I don't know if this falls under open discussion, but when we talked about K-Tech last week, I talked to some people, and something to just consider that I hadn't thought about is K-Tech was like the first radio station in South Dakota, and a lot of alumni are like pretty passionate about it, so I think, like, I know we want to move to streaming, but like it might cause alumni outrage, so just something to think about.
I'm just curious how much, at least for me, how much those alumni are kicking back into K-Tech, or if K-Tech's looked into alumni donations to maybe offset some of those issues. Senator Kessler?
It seems like alumni drive almost all of K-Tech's operating budget, and especially when they really need things. Other than, like, I guess lawyer fees and stuff, it seems like K-Tech's had an alum that has like paid for their website for the past 20 years or something, but K-Tech's not had to pay for it themselves. So I mean, there's a lot of engagement from the alums. Yeah.
I guess kind of we kind of postponed this kind of conversation last week to this week. I guess, what do you guys really want to do with approaching
I would
about this?
like to meet up with the two people, I guess, that are going to be the president and vice president of the K-Tech, I guess, student org, and just kind of see where they're at without the alumni, see what their vision of it is, and kind of where they stand, just without the alumni there.
Okay. Because so Turk has alumni.
Yeah, the Turk meetings, they're all there, and I think it'd be great to just like talk to them without them there to kind of see what
To kind of influencing kind of what the alumni.
Yeah, kind of what.
Living vicariously through.
Yeah, without the alum there, just to like get their whole vibe and opinion about it before like moving forward.
Would you and Senator Kessler be able to coordinate something?
Yes.
Meet up with
We'll
them?
set up a meeting. Yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion on kind of our following on from our K-Tech discussion last week? Seeing none, any other open discussion? Okay, moving on to CFO report.
Alright. So as stated earlier, lots of people have had questions about the soap that was talked about last week. I'd just like to clarify that this year there is no plan to have any like major changes to the soap budgets and like that whole process. We also have funding to sustain soap. The problem is within like 2 or 3 years, then our entire soap funds will be exhausted, and then there will either have to be some kind of other solution. So that's the thing that we're trying to figure out before we exhaust the soap accounts. So, but soap funding itself is not changing, at least not at the moment. Next week we might see a supplemental request or supplemental resolution for BMES and potentially Robot Robotics, as well as I'd just like to talk about rebranding really quick. So we still have the rebranding fund from last year. I know there's an entire ad hoc committee dedicated to it, but if you're ever asked about it, please inform either Senator Russ, who's not here, as well as whoever's asking the questions, that this money is obviously for rebranding, so it's for things that will have new logos on it. There are some guidelines of it has to meet the criteria if it's directly affiliated with any of the school's branding itself, such as the M, the school name, those kinds of things. And that has to get approved through the rebranding office or the marketing. And then additionally, when we allocated these funds, we allowed for some purchases of clothing materials that would go to members. There are restrictions on this as well, as the rebranding will only cover 50% of these reimbursements, as well as these purchases have to be done through the Rocker Shop. So, and if a club approaches you saying they want to do this, please tell them to just give their account number as well as the rebranding account number, which I do not know off the top of my head. But to the Rocker Shop, so that way it can just be charged to those 2 accounts, and we don't have to deal with any major issues of transferring money between accounts that you technically shouldn't be transferring money between. The rebranding account is for SA 124. Director.
Okay, so my preference, I mean, I would have the senators educated about it, but I would make sure that they're just going through the branding committee, okay? So I wouldn't even be giving them account numbers at this point, just because that's gonna get confusing and all that. So when they meet and if the branding committee is approved, like, yep, we approve this to move forward, because depending on what they're doing, there's different processes that we have to use. So we may have to use a purchase order, we may have to get bids on things, as Ben knows from his last year. That way they're working with my office to make sure we're following all policies that he has to make sure that they're getting that stuff into, because we really want to be at 100% compliance with branding by the end of the spring semester.
And then the last thing that I have to report is me, VP Schleich, and President Marshall are going to talk to Dr. Spindle about potential solutions for soap sustainment, as well as how do we help other departments account for the potential loss that they might have given the possible reintroduction of soap to GAP. And that will happen hopefully within next week, maybe 2, but not super long. End of report, if there are any questions.
Seeing none, moving on to VP report.
Hope everybody's week's been going well. I hope you got out to vote yesterday or earlier. It's always good to do that. I think the main thing to talk about this week is that we had a student fed meeting that both President Marshall and I attended on Sunday. There we just went over mental health initiative things, and we got a survey very similar to our own sent out to the other 5 Regental schools, but that's kind of caught up in some red tape right now. So we'll see when that gets sent out officially. We are going to meet again in November for student fed, but now it's a little bit up in the air. We don't have any data to discuss. Besides that, we're just kind of talking about getting things ready for SHED. I kind of want to commend everybody here for actually filling out the survey and just being very active. Apparently, with the SHED survey, 70 to 80% of everybody that had filled it out were for mine, so thanks for being on top of that, guys. I appreciate that. Aside from that, just covering a few other things, student fed with President Marshall and CFO Keystone. I also want to congratulate Senator Seekman for doing a great job, and Heathers. That was an amazing musical, so hope you'll want to see that. Any questions?
Seeing none, moving on to President report. Not a whole lot since last week, other than just trying to kind of wait and bide my time to get more information for the on the GAF issue. If your orgs kind of come and approach them, let them know that the immediate worry won't be this year. I know that there's some worry from camp, some camp teams, camp director. It won't affect this year's this coming year's SOAP allocation. We have the kind of piggyback off what CFO Keystone said. There's no immediate concern for that. It's more so for future years and making sure that we're funded for future years. So that's really where this can be coming. With that, I would like to get the GAFAT committee, our appointments for that made next week. Hopefully you guys will be able to make it, be able to meet prior to the end of the semester after we have more information on just kind of what happened with that SOAP and GAF deal, and kind of getting your feet under you going into GAF allocations this spring. So I'll be reaching out to folks like said on that committee. Other than that, I dropped the ball on parking improvements. I did not get it scheduled this week. I had 3 people respond. Are you guys still working Friday? Are you guys traveling? So
This Friday?
yeah, you good? You traveling Friday? No. You traveling? No. Sorry, Jared. Were you available at 2 p.m. on Friday? No. Okay. How does 4 p.m. on Monday work for next week, Monday?
I'll fill out.
Okay. And I'll just apply this when it's good. Fill it out. I'll apply it for the next week. So yeah, I dropped the ball getting that together. Other than that, and a report. Any questions? CFO Keystone?
I'd just like to ask a point of clarification. I don't have the resolution in front of me, but GAFAT committee it has to be from the Senate, but it can be any 5 people in the Senate. It's not necessarily your appointment or mine or any of our appointments. It's just, yeah, there's an interview process. Yeah, there's one.
So, but yeah. Other than that, I'll have to reread the charter on that, make sure I'm making the appointments correctly. Any questions? Seeing none, moving on to international report. Okay, any questions for Senator Fernandez? All right, veteran report.
The vets are happy with the turnout, the chili cook-off. Winners were announced and traveling trophy was moved. Tomorrow, there's going to be the Veteran Day salute. They're going to raise the flag at 10:45, and they're going to have a little ceremony as well later on. It won't be outside, from what I remember. And that's all I got.
Okay, any questions for Senator Quigley? All right, seeing none, moving on to graduate report.
Nothing to report.
Okay, any questions for Senator Pettinger? Okay, non-traditional report.
No reports.
Okay, any questions for Senator Camps? Seeing none, moving on to committee reports, starting with Constitution.
Nothing new to report, other than this is just a thought experiment for people here who are in, I guess, clubs. Think about the worst case scenario with club members and try to account for it in your constitutions. You don't want there to be a question of how to deal with an issue. So just keep that in mind if you guys are in clubs. Yeah, that's all.
Any questions for Senator Casimir? See none, moving on to public relations.
I'm gonna pass around this sheet for polo sign up. They're gonna be $10. Just mark if you need a polo and what your size is. And then there's a pigskin problem this Saturday at noon. Can anyone help with it? Okay, cool. Just be at the stadium at 11:30. And then follow our TikTok at SD Senate. End of the report.
Any questions for somebody else? Seeing none, moving on to governmental relations.
That's your report.
Okay, any questions for Senator Jones? Seeing none, moving on to student affairs.
Sorry, I was distracted by the. I put a sign-up sheet in the Teams for the Spirit Friday. So I just put that under the current meeting. I hope that was the appropriate place for that. But if you guys could go in there and sign up with that, that would be great.
Any questions for Senator Call? See none. Any campus or ad hoc committees have a chance to meet? Okay. Let's see here. What do I know from that? So there's a question raised with Greek Advisory Committee on whether it's weekly attendance or if it's the what's the other one called? There's the
Greek Council.
Yeah. I mean for Greek Council, like if it's Greek Advisory. If the Greek Advisory is supposed to be meeting for the Greek Advisory Board, or if they're supposed to be meeting like attending each Greek Council meeting.
Both, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know. To my knowledge, I thought that they just attended the Greek Advisory Board meetings once a semester. I don't know that we've ever had another council that we can think of it.
There is confusion about
Sure.
whether or not they should be at the group council.
Okay, so any thoughts on
When I
that?
reached
Senator?
out, I was told that I only had to go to the one semester.
Okay. You good? Okay, I just want to make sure we get that clarified for, if that's the way it's going to be, that we get that clarified for the descriptions. I kind of want to go through and kind of, on all the descriptions within our ad hoc folder, kind of say when they generally meet, especially for these long-standing ad hoc committees, so there's no confusion in the future.
There was talk at the last Greek Council meeting of having them at every Greek Council meeting, but I don't know if there's ever anything decided on if they should be there or not. So I can ask at the next Greek Council meeting.
How do our two senators on that, on Greek Advisory feel about that? Would it be too much? Okay, well said.
I don't think it's necessary, based off the Greek Advisory Board attended.
Yeah, I'll say we just keep it with how it was before. If there's a strong argument brought up from Greek Council for moving it to more regular attendance, or what?
I think like as needed, the Greek Council could request them to attend if there's some issue that they would like to bring up to Senate.
Does that feel fair to you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. See you, Kiza?
Yeah, if that happens, we're gonna need to let them know more than 1 hour before the meeting is supposed to happen.
Any other comments or discussion points? Rick Paulson?
Maybe we could schedule the Greek Advisory Board next semester, not trees. Ideally.
It's gonna do. Yeah, we'll get on that. So Sam's going on maternity leave as of tomorrow. So we'll work on get that scheduled as quickly as possible.
Any other discussion points? If you guys would be able to take that back to Greek Council, that just so we can get it scheduled out better next year, especially given the number of fraternities for the presidents we have on here. All right, any other campus or ad hoc committees? Gotcha. Has Wellness met this semester at all?
Yeah. And they talked about a lot, but nothing that would really be happening until like next semester. I mean, I know there's going to be quite a few things going on once we get into finals, you know, like finals therapy and things like that. But kind of the big thing that they were talking about was the wellness fair, and I was going to kind of bring this up later because they're going to be looking for Senate volunteers during the wellness fair, but that will be until February.
Okay. Any comments for Senator Vanderbilt on wellness? See not any other campus or ad hoc meetings? Okay. Any announcements for?
There's 46 days till Christmas, so Secret Santa's coming up. Self-painted portraits are accepted as gifts, but it's kind of weird. That's all I got.
On that note, I will say that it will be, our Christmas party will be after the Senate meeting on November 30th. I'll be getting out Secret Santa. I'll be entering it in the site, so you guys will be getting an email from drawnames.com with information about who you're buying for, and we'll get more details next week. Senator Hall.
I don't know if this makes a difference, but Order Omega initiation is that night, so I don't know if we'll need to for that.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna get that.
Related to that, we did tentatively schedule our Shed Day dinner with President Rankin and BHSU for that same night. I sent that email like over a month ago, so it's not at the top of your inbox.
Okay. All right, I'll get that out. Yeah, so either way we'll have plans for November 30th.
And if you don't want to do the dinner, we don't.
No, the dinner's good. So the tradition every year we go do either dinner at BH with their Senate and their president. They used to come here and do it with our Senate and our president, but that rotation kind of got thrown off during COVID. So this is just kind of getting us back to it. This one's really nice because we don't have to travel. It wasn't too bad going to BH, but yeah. Okay, I'll get updated information for that. Most likely it's going to be, you guys morally object to having it on that day than a different setting than here because there's a event going on that night? Is that a yes or morally object? Get on that day? Okay. Yes. You are? Okay. We can make it quick. We can just have it at like 5 p.m. just a meeting time, not have a meeting on that day. So I'll get more information on that. I'm sorry. I
think dinner's scheduled for 6 at President Rankin's house. So.
We'll wait for you. Don't worry about it. Okay. Any other announcements? Motions? Senator, are good?
There's a concert. What, next week Friday?
Next Friday.
I'll bring it up next meeting, but we're both playing in it. It's gonna be pretty fun. There's a lot of fun songs we're playing. Yeah. You guys should go.
What kind of music do you guys play?
Oh,
it's
so
the school band.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Classical?
Yeah. Oh, most definitely, yeah.
Okay, good. I like that.
Is this the one at the cathedral? Or no?
No, I think that's just orchestra.
Okay. Any motions? Motions to adjourn. Leonard, motion adjourned, second by Senator Weed. All those in favor of adjourning, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.